Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wake Up Missoula. I have a lot to show for you guys today. I have Rob Tapper here. He's here to talk about Odyssey of the Stars, featuring Lance Boyd, who is being honored for his over 40 years of service and dedication to the University of Montana Jazz program. So we'll have Rob Tapper, the current director of the jazz programs at the University of Montana, talking all about it, which is happening this Saturday, and I'll have him talk a little bit more about it later in the show. But first, we have lots of things to talk about today. I got a bunch of art clips. I got a bunch of a stop animation video for you guys. I have events, news, weather, and more. But let's kick it off with some weather. Today, it's going to be 27 degrees outside. Your high is expected to be 40, so it's going to be nice and warm. But, of course, the snow is going to be pouring and start coming down this week. You have that 60% chance of snow, going up to about 70% chance of snow. So chances are it's probably going to snow if it isn't snowing already. I haven't checked in the last 5 seconds. Thursday, you can expect 40% chance of rain and snow mixtures. Then that'll adjust to more rainy conditions happening Thursday night with a low of 28 degrees. But your high is going to be peaking at 47 by Friday for your first Friday, and I'll have everything you need to know about your first Friday and how your weather's going to look for what's happening for your art walk on first Friday. So up next, we got here is from onthesnow.com. Here's everything you need to know about whether or not the slopes are good. Whitefish Mountain Ski Resort looks like they've had some awesome snow in the last 72 hours along with the last 24 hours, so they have fresh new powder, so you guys can totally check that out. Blacktail Mountain Ski Areas had 12 inches of snow in the last 24 hours with the 72 hours. Montana Snow Bowl hasn't had any fresh snow in the last 24 hours, but you can expect that last 72 hours to be 13 inches of snow. Big Sky Resort had 2 inches of snow in the last 24 hours. Bridger Bowl didn't have any fresh powder, but they did have some snow in the last 72 hours. Trenton Ski Pass area still hasn't had anything. Lost Trail hasn't had anything. Maverick Mountain had 3 inches the last 72 hours, along with Discovery Ski Area. So if you guys want to plan on going anywhere close, Discovery Ski Area is the place to go. But of course, if you guys want to go as far as you can, go to Red Lodge Mountain in Red Lodge, Montana, which is about 600 miles east of here. That's about 1 inch of snow. Would it be worth your trip? Who knows? But here is something that's been happening in the news lately. On Monday night, the city of Missoula confirmed the financing in terms of purchasing the Mountain Water Company, which will become the Missoula Water Company. So there's definitely going to be no change in the abbreviation MWC. The city approved the budget to purchase Mountain Water Company Monday, and I'll have more on that during the city council portion of my show. Moving on, with Zinke being confirmed this morning, he's supposed to be confirmed this morning. We've been talking about it in Montana, in and around Montana, even on my show for the last month or so. He's been confirmed. They kind of left him be the last guy to be one of the last people to be confirmed in Trump's administration, because a lot of times they were working with a lot of the people who are on Trump's administration and who had basically no political background, and for the most part they are all businessmen who are in it for a buck. But I don't want to sound too biased, even though I just did. My bad. With Zinke being confirmed this morning as Secretary of the Interior, many question whether or not he is able to keep his promise to protect 400 million acres of the land, which is mostly located the west of the divide. With one of Zinke's desire to drill in public lands has conflicted with his opinion on climate change is not a hoax, according to Zinke, which has conflicted with Trump and his administration. And speaking of Trump, Donald Trump's first presidential address to Congress was last night, with speeches lasting no longer than about 5 to 30 seconds, with applause from some tired Republicans getting up and down for the hour and 15-minute talk. Applause, talk, applause, talk. Trump stated that his wall will be going up as soon as possible, and that America should think about America. I watched this one on many of the channels that were providing the feed to this address. This was one of the speeches which he relied on a speechwriter. Although Trump has been known to shoot from the hip, and critics many other public officials for speaking, it seems like the speech of many smaller speeches hit everything he has been saying from the start. Trump got a nonpartisan applause when he mentioned William Ryan Owens' widow, Karen Owens. If you haven't already known, Ryan Owens is a soldier who went on a mission and was killed in action, and then Karen Owens was there in the hearing, and then of course Trump said some very eloquent words on her behalf, which got everybody a standing ovation on there as well. And many news organizations that this speech was surprisingly presidential. And that pretty much wraps it up for everything that's happening in the world and the news today. I got an art clip, and then when I come back, I'll have Rob Tapper talking all about Lance Boyd for Odyssey of the Stars happening this weekend. Hey guys, we're back here with Rob Tapper, and he's here to talk everything about Lance Boyd and the Odyssey of the Stars happening this Saturday. So tell us, what can people expect from this Odyssey of the Stars?
Good morning, Scott. We're excited. You know, the university always honors very notable grads, and Lance Boyd is definitely someone who's extremely notable. On Saturday night at the Denison Theater, we're going to have an opportunity to go into what Lance really loved, which is trombone and also jazz. Mm-hmm. You know, and there'll be also they showcase a lot of the other aspects of the College of Visual and Performing Arts. But we're going to have a lot of jazz, big band. He's going to actually come up and conduct a piece of music, one of his favorites. We talked to him about, so all the pieces you've ever done, which one would you like to conduct? And so he sent us that one. Also trombones, we're going to have a bunch of current trombone players and former trombone players, maybe like yourself, on Saturday night. So that should be touching for him. And then, like I said, there are other media arts and theater and dance involved events on the program as well.
Cool. Oh, so for many of Odyssey of the Stars, a lot of people who graduate the University of Montana go out into the world and make their mark. But with Lance Boyd, he came to the University of Montana and made his mark at the University of Montana. So he contributed so much to the jazz program, which included like the Buddy DeFranco jazz program, yep, and something that you've inherited from him. So how do you feel about taking up the mantle after Lance Boyd?
Oh, it's a big job, but you know, it's exciting because he came here, I want to say in 1969, he came here and then he essentially started the jazz program. So for over 40 years he created that. He then created a jazz festival, which was later named with this association of Buddy DeFranco, bringing stars from all over the world to Missoula. And that part is really exciting, and it's great for the kids. It's not just great for the university music students, but also the middle school and high school kids all around the Northwest. This year we'll have 48 different groups from all over the Northwest, from Idaho, Montana, and Washington. So it's just, that tradition is fantastic, passing along that language and that information to kids. I love that part of it, really do.
So have you had any like, let's say when Lance Boyd is retired, do you have any of his students who were freshmen when he retired and that are seniors or graduate students now?
Most of the students I did, yeah, obviously, but most of them have graduated and gone on at this point. I'm not sure. I was talking to Johan, our saxophone teacher. At this point, I think most of the people are now out there. So like when he comes to rehearse, he's going to rehearse the big band today at 1 o'clock. He's going to come in and I'm not sure he's going to know any of those kids by name, really. He would have seen them in different events. He comes to everything, still comes to everything. Small group, big band, all kinds of performances, the Alan Vizzuti thing the other day. So he's around and about, but I don't think he specifically recruited any of those folks.
Cool. So, what are you most excited about for? What can people? What should people be most excited about for this Saturday?
Saturday night, it's a showcase for the College of Visual and Performing Arts. The Dean, Stephen Combe, shepherds this whole event, and he gets a lot of help from the director of the School of Music, Maxine Ramey, and his assistant, Peggy Nesbitt, and Sherry Ferguson, and Christian Goldstag. All kinds of great people come together and just do a big showcase of all the different things that go on in the College of Visual and Performing Arts. So there'll be just an opportunity to see what the students are doing in the university. There's obviously a fair amount of negative publicity right now about the university and budgets and but there are so many fantastic things going on in the university and what the students are doing and what they have their hands in and where they're going to be in 5 or 10 years, so they come back and get the same kind of honor. So Saturday night, you're going to get a chance to hear music, cabaret, theater, visual, media arts, dance, the Symphonic Wind Ensemble. It's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, and the university has always been known as the fine arts program. It helps people get together and express themselves artistically, and I think that's a great program, not only with the music program but also with all the other visual and performing arts at the university.
Oh, it's fantastic, and the community is so supportive. This is one of the best communities on the planet for that kind of support, and people come out because they love it. They love that. It touches their soul, and it gives people an opportunity to see and hear some really cool things.
Cool. So one more time, where can people get more information, and also when and where is this event?
Saturday night, Denison Theater at 7:30, Odyssey, the Stars. You can go online, and you can also, I believe, GrizTix should have tickets for you. You can call the College of Visual and Performing Arts ticket office. Number of different ways you can get tickets and come on. Don't miss this. It's also a big fundraiser for scholarships for the students that are in these programs. That part's important because we want to get the quality kids, and we want to make sure that their education is affordable for kids all over the country.
Well, thank you. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, thanks for having me.
All right, thanks, Rob.
Thanks.
Some of the things that we've talked about already, such as whether a child is allowed to be down on the floor, crawling around, or learning to walk, being exposed potentially to dangers. It has to do with preventing illness and potentially even preventing death. But the other part of this is, how do we interpret the causes of illness or death? If you believe that your child is the reincarnation of ancestral spirits, part of that may also involve believing that if your child has a disability or has behavioral difficulties, that you are somehow being punished for past sins yourself.
Yeah, that's it. The leading ballerina was a student graduate in 2002, and currently she is not principal, but she's a ballerina in Finland National Ballet. So this was her holiday, I guess. So she came back to support our country's task.
So these are just some of the characters who are the crooks and the pioneers and the doctors and the political operatives and the activists and the whacktivists who are wheeling and dealing and healing in Montana on the cusp of marijuana's heyday in Montana. It's conceived as sort of Weeds meets House of Cards meets Northern Exposure, where people turn in for the characters, but they also stay to learn about inside politics, marijuana science, and this phenomenon that is sweeping this country.
Competitor number 228, age 12, origin of bones.
Of course, as you can see, that this is the Vienna International Ballet Experience, a ballet competition, but in the most part, it was geared towards having the youth dancers and ballet performers meet each other and trade ideas and express themselves for each other, and also in the process, the biggest part is the learning. So that was a nice little program, though, that has been airing on MCAT. You can see that pretty much anytime on MCAT.org by logging on to MCAT.org. So you go to channel 190, you click on this, and you can go to our Video on Demand. Video on Demand, it is a great resource for anybody in and around Missoula to see any old programs and also most current programs, and those are some of the programs that are new happening on MCAT, and you can find out more information about Missoula and MCAT by logging on to MCAT.org. Moving on, let's talk about some city council. So if you guys haven't already heard, the city is planning on doing an acquisition of the Mountain Water Company. They've been planning this for many years. Legality, all legal work, all's done. Now they were working with the finances, working on how much it's going to cost. So they had to figure out how much they had to pay the employees, but the employees wouldn't release their information. And then they had to, the employees sued the city, and then this went through the whole another process. And now that it's officially, all the legal stuff is all done with over $13 million spent in legal fees and legal things going on. Now it's time to move forward and try to figure out of the years of legal and financial work. The City of Missoula has moved forward on approving a consent and agenda which would allow the City of Missoula to purchase Mountain Water Company, which will become Missoula Water Company. What many feared that with the purchase of the Missoula Water Company would have to raise taxes or raise the rates of the water the water rate revenue and stuff like that. They were worried that the rate pay would have to go up. But many Missoulians' minds that thought that the revenue that once this went into effect, of course, the revenue that used to go into Carlisle with their bonuses and all that stuff will now be streaming back into the City of Missoula. Dale Bickle, Chief Administrator Officer of the City of Missoula, said that any increase would be based on an average growth and rate increase that is natural. $140 million and $400,000 are provided to provide money to finance the acquisition of assets of Mountain Water Company, establishing the funding capital contingency fund, paying post-summons interest and additional defendant attorney fees in connection with such acquisition, and of course paying costs for the prospective employees, maintenance, and everything else that was up there. So Missoula basically sued Carlisle Group and said, hey, your water company, it's not, you're not going to fix it, it seems broken. And now, since they went through the whole process, like, okay, so now we're buying a broken system for way more than it's worth. And also now we're going to be paying the maintenance costs to it as well. And of course, the City of Missoula says that it will not affect taxes, but they said that there will be a rate increase regardless of whether or not the cost of this made any difference whatsoever. So here is Marilyn Marler, and she reflects on the Mountain Water Company process.
Public support for this process, and I think that the public was really clear the whole time that this was important to us, and I was happy to be a part of this. It may be one of the most important things I've been involved with since my time on City Council, and I just didn't want this vote to go by without commenting on it and thanking everyone involved.
Mr. Osberg?
Thanks. I normally don't write out some notes, but I did in this case. It is a big deal, and I echo all of Marilyn's, Ms. Marler's thanks to various people. I wanted to make a few comments, though, in the record. Many of us here have read Michael Lewis's 2010 book, The Big Short, about the subprime mortgage and financial market crisis in 2007 and 8, or you might have watched the movie. I believe the most important observation in the book comes in the epilogue, where Lewis identifies the root cause of the behavior underpinning the crises, and he calls it a misalignment of interests. The quote where he talks about this still being an issue despite regulations and superficial changes at the big financial firms goes like this: The changes were camouflage. They helped to distract outsiders from the truly profane event, which was the growing misalignment of interests between the people who trafficked in financial risk and the wider culture. The surface rippled, but down below in the depths, the bonus pool remained undisturbed. So it's this issue, again, the growing misalignment of interests. I think that assessment succinctly and elegantly captures our situation here with the water utility, both the history of private ownership, distant and recent, and the opportunity to course correct, if you will, moving forward under public ownership. Carlisle's interests were never the interests of Missoulians. They were never in this for the long haul, despite assertions to the contrary, and we need a utility owner and operator in it for the long haul, for capital investments in the system, wells, pumps, meters, pipes, that ensure a durable, resilient system sustained by reasonable rates.
All right, so that was Marilyn Marler and Brian Van Lossberg speaking on behalf of their wards and their city, talking about Mountain Water Company and how their involvement, a lot of citizens of Missoula and a lot of people who were former lawyers spent many months and maybe even a year working with the city of Missoula. A lot of them were working pro bono for the city of Missoula to help make this a possibility. I have another quote from former chief administrator who is Bruce Bender, who was replaced by Dale Bickle, who worked on the financing for this purchase of Mountain Water Company. And this is what Bruce Bender had to say in reflection, because once the city of Missoula won the acquisition case against Mountain Water, he basically retired from then.
On this, this is a great moment. The people of Missoula have been waiting for this for a very long time. Congratulations to you, Mayor Engen, for your vision, for your endurance down the long, winding road with a lot of bumps. And to Marilyn Marler and Brian Van Lossberg for your strong leadership. As has already been mentioned, the echoes in this chamber are the applause from past mayors and past city councils, especially Mayor John Toole, who was unsuccessful in his acquisition efforts in the 80s. As you already talked about the city staff, I want to recognize Lee Griffin, John Wilson, and Steve Johnson, who have labored for the details, to Jim Nugent, who brought certitude in your guidance. You were there in the 80s, and that was always helpful. To Ginny Merriam, who's kept us on message. And especially to Dale Bickle, whose wise financial skills and fortitude was key to making this happen. To the legal team, Harry Schneider, Tasha Jones, Scott Stearns, they not only brought critical legal skills, but they brought a tremendous commitment and belief in the cause. So finally, the cause of bringing essential municipal service to city control always was to the people of Missoula, always right and just. But when ownership of our water was moved to a global market amidst global issues of climate change, and I'm a believer of that. And for those who know me, I'm not going to break in the song or anything like that right now either. I'm being a believer, but these global issues make our actions so much more imperative and more necessary. As already been stated, this action will benefit our future generations the most. For good quality drinking water will even be more essential to survive the future as it changes with climate change. And because of your actions, future generations will have ownership and control of their drinking water, and not some global market company.
All right, so once again, that was Bruce Bender. He was the former chief administrator for the city of Missoula. And for some of you out there who says, like, oh, the water was good enough, well, why don't we just keep things the way they are? A lot of times that the city of Missoula actually went out and asked the Missoulians as well in a survey, and they basically asked them whether or not moving forward on acquisition was plausible, and if Missoulians were willing to spend the money. So majority of support of Missoulians did support the acquisition of the water company. So for the most part, the city of Missoula acquired the water based on popular opinion, and it wasn't just the city of Missoula going, oh, the city of Missoula, they're doing whatever they want to do. They asked the citizens of Missoula whether or not to move forward on the acquisition of Mountain Water Company. So that's just a little clarifying note at the last part as well, because there were a couple comments in there saying that it was kind of unnecessary. This kind of felt like now they're spending a lot of money on something that we never really needed, because it was always going to be there, and so just putting that to rest once and for all, hopefully. Moving on, we do have a nice new stop animation video of the week, so this continues on my stop motion anthology, and when I come back, I'll talk everything about events that you guys need to know happening in the next 2 days.
All right, so this is where they interrogate people, or they question people, that's how it works. Hey guys, over here.
Oh, not this idiot again. He is the chief's son. I can't believe it.
Hey, Colonel, what's up?
It's Captain. So these are the new recruits? What's your guys' story?
Well, allow me. This is Dave, and this is Steve. Or, wait, is this Steve, or this is Dave? I'm not sure exactly, but these are the new recruits.
Stay out of my way.
Hey, Lieutenant, get over here a second. I would if I could, but I gotta go interview these guys over here. You know, it's like everything happens in circles. You try to break the routine, but you just find the same people doing the same crime over and over again.
Excuse me. We're not criminals, we're victims.
Yeah! I don't care who you think you are. Every time you guys are together, the vigilante shows up just as trouble comes along. Yeah, I gotta clarify some things. We're not actually together.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
Yeah, get out.
And you, Charles, seem not to be around when the vigilante is. Now, how do you explain I am not the vigilante? Whew! You seem pretty strong there, son. Well, you gotta be tough in these streets. What do you expect from me? Give me some names. Now, Levi and Rusty. You guys know why you're here?
I just want you to know I've been on my best behavior.
You don't say.
What is that supposed to mean?
What is this really about, Lieutenant? Could you tell me where you guys were after you were beaten up by the statue?
We just got coffee.
Can you verify?
I don't see how this has anything to do with anything.
It puts a time and place of whether or not you're the vigilante or not.
What?
Trust me, sir. He was with me the whole time.
I cannot believe this is happening.
Sir, I'm going to need you to relax. You know, I've interviewed dozens of people today, and you're the only one who's been missing. Among your friends, the last couple of months, this vigilante has been in operation. I call that a slam dunk.
Maybe you're right. Maybe the time you spent chasing me has come down to this moment.
Dude. I mean, whoa, you guys gonna laugh like pirates. Hey, Lieutenant. What's up?
Criminals have a familiar face. Sometimes punching it isn't enough, but neither is locking them away. Time to break the routine once and for all, Lieutenant.
Hey, Chief. Hey, guys, seen these hats? They're sweet.
Well, that was, that was the continuation of my stop motion anthology called Interrogation. Moving on, here are some of your events that are impacting you today and throughout the week. We're kicking off March with March for Meals. Missoula Aging Service during the month-long march to raise awareness and funds for the Meals on Wheels program. I interviewed Colleen Kernan and oh God, I can't remember his Kuchenruther, Larry Kuchenruther, who is a driver for the Missoula Meals on Wheels program, and they came here and they talked about it. I interviewed them. You can see it at wakeupmissoula.wixsite.com/wakeupmissoula, and also YouTube by looking up Wake Up Missoula, my channel. It's wonderful, and it is basically it is one of the best channels of all time. There's an exhibit opening, so of course there's a bunch of new art exhibits opening this week for First Friday, and one of them is the Leela and Rudy Audio Family Collection at the Missoula Art Museum. Nexus, the Leela and Rudy Audio Family Collection. MAM is proud to present a comprehensive overview of the Atio Family Collection. It is an art collection shaped by more than 6 decades of friendship, professional artist relationship. The Atios were at the center of the post-World War II generation of makers who experimented with abstraction and alternative materials and laid the foundation of the cultural milieu which exists in Montana today. And this art will be happening from March 1st to June 24th. So you guys can't miss it. It'll be happening pretty much for quite a while. There's a Spartan race training group, so not to be associated with Sentinel High School. Spartans were not mythical, but it was a historic group of soldiers who are just like super BA. But of course, get ready for the 2017 Spartan race with all the support, motivation, and training you'll need to make the race day a success. Certified personal trainer with the women's club, and will lead a workout. They will lead a workout session, do homework to help get you ready for the race. And this is happening tonight at 5:30 and Saturday 10 a.m. And this is going to be happening March 1st to April 1st, leading up into the Spartan race. It's $109 for members and $159 for guests. To call, you can go to 728-4410 to register. And I just realized that's basically a commercial. Sorry about that. Global Public Health Series is doing a talk tonight. I will probably end up doing it tonight because Ron Scholl he's the main guy who does the media assistance grants for Missoula Community Access Television, and he asked me to do it. So they're doing a lecture on health system strengthening at my last mile by Jessica Crawford, MPH, MA, Senior Management and Group Leader of Health Systems Village Research, free and open to the public. So you can check that out. Of course, many students will be attending that because for a lot of students who are in the medical field, they're actually kind of required to take this so they can basically write an essay about it. Here are some of your educational events happening. Open hours at the Makerspace is going to be at the public library starting at 10 a.m. This is basically has 3D printing, cool tech stuff, all sorts of wonderful things that they have provided at the Missoula Public Library. Yoga for Wellness at the Learning Center at Red Willow was at 10 a.m. Rice Table at the Family's First Children's Museum is at 11. NAMI Crafts is at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Middle School Writers Group at the Missoula Public Library at 3:30 p.m. American Red Cross Water Safety Instructor. So if you're a teen, 16 years, not older, not younger, but you have to be 16 to be certified as a Red Cross lifeguard. That's happening at the Currents Aquatic Center, happening at 5 p.m. They're going to do this every Monday and Wednesday for quite a while. Yoga for Chronic Pain, the Learning Center at Red Willow. It's for folks who want to do yoga, who are older and aging, who want to basically slowly get into shape rather than, because for a lot of people who are older, pain and no gain, if there's no pain, no gain, that's not necessarily true, because when you're older, there's just nothing but pain. So anyways, not to undermine, not to criticize or anything like that, but that's what a lot of elderly people are dealing with, especially my dad. My dad always complains about his pains all the time. So understanding emotional intelligence at Washington Middle School is happening at 6:15. It's an education class, so you guys can understand emotional intelligence. A Global Public Health Series, again, Tai Chi is at the Learning Center at Red Willow, and NAMI Family Support Group. So if you have a child or somebody you know who has a mental illness, they have a support group to help you guys work with people with mental illnesses. So here are some of your music events. Jazz Night is going to happen at the Top Hat Lounge. Sharing the Groove, celebrating the music official, is happening at the Top Hat as well earlier. I guess they had their whole thing switched up. Jazz Night is happening at 7 p.m., but they actually put a.m., so just clarifying. Country Dance Lesson with instructor Kathy Clark at 7 p.m. You have all this karaoke happening at Badlander, Palace, VFW, and I believe the Sunrise Saloon. So that's everything that's happening for your Wednesday events. I'm going to show you an art clip. This is Binary, and this is also happening at the Missoula Art Museum. And when I come back, I'll have the rest of your events wrapped up and the end of the show. And of course, most of that art will be on display at the Missoula Art Museum pretty much from now all the way until April, June time. This one says it will be on until about May. May 13th. So you have until May 13th to see Binary, which is sculptures and nice little cool things as well. Moving on, here are some of your highlighted events for your Thursday. There's a lot, just so you guys know. Book Madness is going to be at the Big Sky branch, so at Big Sky High School, starting at 10 a.m. The Missoula Public Library, the Big Sky branch returns for their online competition. Book Madness as March-style tournament books where 64 book characters face off this year's in categories like dragons, wizards, aliens. You can vote online at tinyurl.com/MPL Big Sky Branch to vote. So I'm assuming they'll have a link at the Missoula Public Library website, so you can Google Missoula Public Library for more information. Reaching our elected officials panel, the University of Montana is inviting from the Montana chapter of the Black Backcountry Hunters and Anglers is hosting a panel to how to engage in our elected officials on issues that we value: public lands, wildlife management, habitat conservation, etc. Join them Thursday, March 2nd from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. to hear about the effective ways to communicate your values to those holding political offices. And that is going to be happening, the official thing is happening from 6 to 8 p.m., but they'll do something from 2 to 6 p.m. as well. And it's going to be at the Montana Forestry Building, room 301. The night event is happening on 6 to 8 p.m. UC Gallery Open. Here's another gallery opening tomorrow at 4 p.m. at University of Montana. It's called Hushed Notion by Paige Ward. The UCG staff would like to extend an invitation to all students, faculty, and staff, as well as the Missoula community to attend an experience of this month's exhibit by Paige Ward. This event is free and open to the public, and this is going to be at the University of Montana. I believe, it's at the UC Theater. It's the UC. It's on the second floor. They have a nice little gallery. You can totally check it out. It's directly across from the game room. So if you guys are associated with the game room in Pizza Hut, across the way from there. So you guys can't miss it. Bear Bay Dance Annual Art and Dance Gala is going to be happening at the 6 p.m. at the Public House, which was formerly Army Navy Store, which is right next to the Atmosphere Smoke Shop in that general region, just right next to First Interstate Bank off of Broadway Street. I don't know how more specific I can get. The Bear Bay Dance collaborates with local visual artists to present an evening of inspired original dance works in celebration of their 6th season and beyond in Missoula. Join for music, light, food, and drink, art, and of course dance to support Montana's premier professional contemporary modern dance company and the art community. This will be a $25 suggested donation at the door, and patrons are encouraged to bid on art auction pieces as well. I believe there will be a silent auction. 0 by 50, Missoula's Pathway to Zero Waste. The city of Missoula is hosting 3 public meetings in March to support the development of Missoula's Pathway to Zero Waste, which was initiated a year ago when City Council adopted a resolution establishing a goal to reduce Missoula's waste stream by 90% by the year 2050. All Missoulians are invited to learn about the plan in Missoula Waste Zero, and I hear that at the current rate of our trash and a consumption here in Missoula, that the landfill will be filled by 2036 unless we change to zero waste. And we got to change our ways. Basically, we're going to either look for a new landfill or we're going to have to improve what we do. So just so you guys know, that's kind of like what's happening. They'll talk about this and more happening at 6 p.m., and this will be at the Missoula Federal Credit Union Training Center. So I don't even know where that's at. You guys have to look it up because I'm like, what? Missoula Federal Credit Union Training Center? I didn't even know they had that kind of thing. But you can find out more information by going to MissoulaEvents.net. Here are some of your music events happening Thursday night. Lou Reed's 75th birthday celebration will be at the Union Club. So if you know who Lou Reed is, you can go join in the birthday celebration. Or if you're going there anyways, be like, oh yeah, Lou Reed's having a birthday celebration here. I don't know who he is, but I might say hi. So Country Dance Lesson with Kathy Clark again at the Sunrise Saloon. Martin Sexton at the Top Hat Lounge. Live Jazz at Plonk. Western Front at the Sunrise Saloon. Aaron Brocksterman will be at the Sunrise Saloon. It's going to be country music. Open mic at the Broadway, and Rocking Karaoke hosted by Aaron B. Rocks is going to be at the Dark Horse, which is right next to the Sunrise Saloon, which is basically it's like 2 bars in one. It's like a rock bar and a country bar. So I'm a little bit country, and they're a little bit rock and roll. One's doing the performance, and another one doing karaoke. You get your choices. So that basically ends up everything you need to know about what's happening in and around Missoula. I want to thank Rob Tapper, the director of the jazz program at the University of Montana, for coming on our show to talk about Lance Boyd, a former professor who taught me some trombone. I was in Jazz 3, I was in Jazz 2, I was in different jazz things, but that was more of my secondary stuff while I went to school for journalism. So for the University of Montana, they're hosting this at 7:30 p.m. roughly at the University Theater. Now it's called the Denison Theater. I keep on calling it the University Theater because it's been the University Theater for me for such a long time. So the Denison Theater, 7:30 p.m. You guys can totally check that out. They're honoring Lance Boyd for his over 40 years of service to the University of Montana's jazz and low brass music program. So you guys can totally support Lance Boyd and jazz in general because he's the one that brought jazz to Missoula, or basically solidified jazz in Missoula. So thanks for joining me. I don't have anything else to say. Sorry about that little technical difficulty I had in the middle, but I will fix it and hopefully have a better show up on YouTube. You can subscribe to me on YouTube, Wake Up Missoula. You can like me on Facebook, Wake Up Missoula. You can follow me on Twitter at Wake Up Missoula. So everything's Wake Up Missoula except for Twitter, where you have that little stupid @ sign. But without further ado, for Wake Up Missoula, I'm Scott Ramp. Thank you for joining me.